As the court pleases, my lord. Morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir.
Sorry. Morning, Captain.
Morning.
Captain, let's start briefly with a summation of your curriculum vitae. You stated that you did an internal training course and an external training course in ballistics, correct?
The ballistic training was internal, my lord. The external training was presented by UNISA, yes. So yes.
And you've never attended any courses that were conducted by the FBI that your peers, Lieutenant Colonel Sereo and Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, attended?
No, my lord, I did not attend the FBI course.
Now you join the Forensic Sciences Laboratory ballistic section in 2000, the year 2000. And then at paragraph 2.4, you state that you were declared competent and proficient in forensic ballistics examination. After how long since you joined were you declared competent and proficient?
If my recollection is correct, I was declared proficient on the 1st of April 2004. 2004.
Is that the date?
The 1st of April 2004, but that is if I'm correct.
Now your testimony is that you are approached by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena to do microscopic comparison on his findings, correct?
It's an opinion. I was asked for an opinion on
Yes,
microscope.
an opinion.
That's correct, my lord.
Now, just briefly, between the 22nd of July 2020 to date, how many examinations and comparisons have you conducted?
My lord, I cannot recall. I will have to go back to the system. I have also been appointed as acting group leader where I oversee members and I review. So don't do as many cases specifically for a certain period of time. But I can get the record for the court if needed.
Yes, but the point is it 10, 20, 100, 2,000 cases? Because you've conducted over 6,000 examinations and comparisons. So I want to know roughly from the time you did an opinion for Lieutenant Colonel Mangena to date. Let's forget about the period when you are promoted, you are not seeing members. When you were doing examinations, how many cases?
It will be more than 100, my lord, because we work overtime on a monthly basis. So for 34 hours a month, I actively do cases, at least for overtime, and then some during the day. It will depend on the circumstances of the day.
And do you know the details of those 100 or so cases that you've conducted and examined?
No, my lord, there's too many to recall.
Now, how come that you recall the details of this opinion for which you've told this court that there's no note, there's no way you recorded your workings and your examination of these test, the exhibit bullet and the test bullets?
Thank you very much, Advocate Rams, for asking my burning question. Because, hello, Captain Grobler is very, forgetful. You see, she just goes to work, does the exam. She doesn't really take notes of it. She can't even remember the bare minimum, okay, the bare minimum. Give us a number. How many cases have you worked on since 2020? She cannot commit. She has commitment issues, and she has one goal in answering questions: deny, and say you don't know. That is all she is here to do, and she will say it to the best of her ability. But Rams has her cornered. You see, she played with Rams. She kept on with the I don't know, I don't remember, because, she has a selective memory. But do you know where her memory is crystal sharp, crystal clear? It is when she has to talk about the Senzo Meyiwa opinion, not examination, as she put it, the opinion she had to give. She remembers her opinion. Now, if you ask me my opinion on a video I did last week, I would have to listen to the video again. But for her memory is so sharp, only with the Senzo Meyiwa trial, she is able to write a 4-page affidavit on what happened on that day. I wish I had a memory like hers, because you can only remember specifics when you want to. But kudos to Rams for pushing her in a corner. Now let's see how she gets herself out.
As I explained, my lord, I asked Colonel Mangena after my microscopic examination what case this is. He informed me that it is a Senzo Meyiwa case. I know that I made it positive. I made the exhibit bullet positive to the test in this specific case. The lab numbers and the dates, that is completely different. But I know for a fact that I made it positive. When Colonel Mangena came to me for an opinion, he had already done his own microscopic comparison. I did my own independent microscopic work, to which I informed him of my findings. He recorded his findings and we agreed with these findings.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to limit your answer to my questions. The issues that I want to canvass with you I'll come to those issues, right?
No.
Now, based on the fact that your opinion is not recorded anywhere, not even a worksheet to say, I, Ritha Probla Feliun, date 22 July 2020, comparison TB3, TB10, or whatever comparison you did, and then result in the inclusion, elimination, or inconclusive. We don't have a piece of document like that, correct?
I don't have a piece of document like that.
So all we have today here in court right now is your say-so, that you made certain comparisons and you came to a conclusion of a match or an inclusion. That's your say-so. That's your ipsa dixit.
That's correct, my lord. I did it under oath.
Now let me give you a background of my cross-examination to you. Colonel Mangena testified in this matter regarding the exhibit firearm, the exhibit bullet that he tested and compared with the test fires. The beginning of the story is that in February of 2015, a warrant officer, Rulofse, received these exhibits and he fired 2 test fires, which is TB1 and TB2. Can I continue, Mr. Johnson? Okay. Then, upon Colonel Mangena's receipt of the test bullets, he first received the test bullets, TB1 and TB2. And then he later received the firearm, and upon receipt of the firearm, he fired several test fires, which are now 8 of them, TB3 to TB10. So the total tests fired were 10, inclusive of the 2 of warrant officers. Having compared, firstly, TB1 and TB2 with the exhibit bullet, he found that there were some individual marks, but not enough to make an inclusion or a finding, whether it's elimination, conclusion, inconclusive, or the like. Then he had to go and fetch the firearm at Cleveland Police Station so that he can fire the bullets that match the material that was used in the exhibit bullet that was found at the scene, which is a C&J. And to track back a bit, the tests TB1 and TB2 that were fired by Rulofse were FMJs, which are the full metal jackets. Mangena goes, gets the firearm, fires 2 FMJs and 6 CMJs, the complete metal jacket, 6 of those. So in total, 4 FMJs are fired. Mangena says his FMJs that he fired are PNP. The 6 CMJs, 2 are Sixowa. 2, he forgot the make. Even at the time he testified, he didn't give the make of the manufacturer of those 2. And then the other one is ANG. The 2 are ANG. Then, having compared all the test fires, 10 of them, he saw the best profile of marks on TB5 and TB9 that he compared with the exhibit bullet and came to a finding of an inclusion. After that, that's when you and your colleagues come into picture on the 22nd of July. He testifies further, Colonel Mangena, to say, I then approached Captain Viljoen, now Krobler, Captain or Warrant Officer Fesser, Lieutenant Colonel Serrel, I'm not sure about the ranks of the others, to furnish me with their opinions, which they did, and they agreed with me. On the 23rd of July, 2020, he then approaches Lieutenant Colonel Serreo. So sorry, the third colleague was Warrant Officer Ntili. Serreo does the verification on the 23rd of July, 2020. And he also examines TB3 to TB10, or all 10 of them. He was dilly-dallying as to whether he did on all 8 or on all 10 testifiers, compares them, and then he finds the best marks, profile of marks on TB8, and the lesser, better marks on TB4, which he both then makes a finding of an inclusion or a match. You can interpret now, Mr. Jonas, because I want to leave.
Remember the question you asked, ma'am?
As far as I know, he's giving me a scenario.
It's a
but-
background, my lord. There's no question there.
See.
Yes. I can proceed. Now you come to court. You've done an opinion on the 22nd of July. First question. At the time, Colonel Mangena gives you TB3 to TB10. Did you know that he had already made a finding of an inclusion or a match?
Am I aware that he'd already made a finding?
At the time he approached you on the 22nd of July, 2020, when he gave you the case file and the exhibits to compare, did you know then that he had made a positive finding?
I knew he had made a finding. As to what the finding was, I wasn't aware of. After my confirmation, I said, this is my opinion, which then he informed me, and it was documented that it is the same.
First of all, a shout out to Mr. Jonas, because hello, I love his interpretation style, which is bare minimum, barely there. Keep talking, Rams. We will translate. I'll do a summary later. I really, really love that because it makes my editing so easy. So shout out to him. Thank you for coming back. Because, oh my God, the other one wanted to talk every 2 words. Every 2 words. Do you guys know how painful that is? If you appreciate my edits, please make sure you drop a like, okay, please, and thank you. but I also want to shout out Rams, okay? Advocate Ramosepele. Listen, I listened to him give a summary, and most of the time he forgets or he fumbles, he mixes things up, he gets lost, and then he drops the question. He was able to give Miss Grobler, okay, Miss I don't know, a summary from the 15th of February, very accurately, if I might add, all the way until she enters the picture, okay? And after Mr. Serio as well on the 23rd of July, 2020. So a great summary to Rams for that. And then after he gives his summary, he then says, so when you got the case file, did you know what his findings were? You see, this is where Miss I don't know fumbles the bag, okay? This is where she reveals to us that she rehearsed her answer. She knew she was going to be asked this, and she was ready, okay? And she says, no, I didn't know his findings. He handed me the case file and the exhibits. Now, I don't know much about case files, but if we go back to what Mangena said, remember Mangena said he documented it, that it was a match, TB5 and TB9. She has the case file. He didn't tell us that when he went to give the others, he took out 1 page. He didn't tell us he didn't share the results. He said he wrote it all down. So she has the case file, okay? and she has the exhibits, and she does her own independent examination, as she says, microscopic examination, to give her opinion. And when she was done, she gave her opinion, and only then, ladies and gentlemen, did he write it down that they are in agreement. What was your bullet number that you agreed with? What was your bullet number that you agreed with? See, that's the problem with lies, okay? You miss out the small little details, and people like me and members of the jury over there in the comment section, we're gonna catch you. We're very patient, but we will catch you. And what is with the Miss Arrogant voice? What is it with over answering the question? Rams had to say, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to have to ask you to limit your answers to my questions. Don't do this parables thing, and don't do this thesis. We are not getting a master's degree here in ballistics. I ask a question, you answer only what I've asked, and I love it. I love it for us. Who is this? Advocate Ramosepele in the building, okay? So let me know your thoughts if you also noticed that Miss I Don't Know seems to know a lot of detail, but is lying. Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's see how Rams handles business after this.
And you have testified in evidence in chief about the manner in which you did the comparison. You said you took the exhibit bullet and took one of the testifiers side by side, compared them, and made a finding. Correct?
My lord, I said I first compared the tests to each other.
Yes. You compared the tests among themselves to familiarize yourself with the profile of markings. From there, you remove the tests, and then now you start the comparison.
I then compared the first bullet and then a second bullet.
Now let us remove the vagueness. Those test bullets are marked TB3 to TB10. Which of those did the one that you say is the first, did you see the best mark on to compare with the exhibit bullet?
I can't recall the specific test, my lord, as I did not make a note.
Let's do this. I've given you the background scenario. Colonel Mangena compared TB5 and TB9 to the exhibit bullet. Did you compare TB5 and TB9? Did you compare TB5 and TB9?
When comparing all the tests to each other, I compared TB3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to each other. And they were fired from the same firearm. I familiarized myself, they had the same markings. So whether I specifically compared it to the specific exhibit, I cannot recall. But I did compare them to each other.
Now let me add another spice to this point. Colonel Mangena says the barrel of the firearm that shot these tests was worn out. And as a result, the impartation of marks onto the bullets were not consistent. Thereby, he saw the best profile of marks on TB5 and 9. Sereo sees the best profile of marks on TB8, and he says to a lesser extent on TB4. And the FMJs in particular, because of the hard metal component and content of that bullet, was difficult to, not difficult per se, but it did not transfer sufficient marks. So all I want to get from you is this. You indiscriminately test and compare TB3 to TB10, and correct me if I'm wrong. You are saying all of those TB3, TB to TB10 had sufficient marks on them for you to compare and make a positive finding. Is that what you're saying?
My lord, when I compared the tests to each other, even though the marks are lighter, they are still individual marks. Whether it be FMJ or CMJ, there are still sufficient marks to be able to say that even these marks are lighter, it is still the same firearm. Therefore, after my comparison between the tests, I took the best test and I compared it to the exhibit. Whether the marks are lighter or darker or more prominent, it doesn't matter. The point is, I could say that even the FMJs and CMJs were still fired from the same firearm. Whether the individual characteristics were more prominent or not, there was sufficient agreement of individual characteristics.
If you're new to this channel, I have this little disclaimer, and I promise you, I don't wake up and choose violence, okay? I don't wake up and choose to give these characters in this movie names. But let me tell you something about Captain Grobler. She earns the award for Miss Bare Minimum status at work, okay? She gets the award. She joins the others, the Maholas, for Bare Minimum, okay? I am just here. You want me to do what, Mangena? Okay, I will take them, okay? I will take the test. I'll do it all. We're just going to have to take her word for it, okay? As Ram said, it's just your say-so that you've brought to court because you never wrote it down. And she says, you know what? I can't recall, my lord. I can't recall which bullet I picked. But I picked one and I used it against the exhibit. But I can't recall because I did not mark it down. So you see, she's just there to do the bare minimum. You see, when I'm listening to her, I'm just taking notes here and there. But you're telling me Miss Ballistic Expert Donnie over there working but didn't go do the FBI training can't write anything down? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Throw out her evidence. It is irrelevant, my lord. She is not a reliable witness. And what is with that arrogant voice? Condescending voice. Ma'am, you didn't write anything down. You don't get a chance to be condescending. Okay? Hello? Who's her boss? Oh, yes, it's team leader over there, Cyril, who's also very, very questionable. You know what? Let's continue listening on. We can already tell where the slippery slope is going because the barrel was also slippery and it was worn out and not all the marks were transferred. But she said they were all, okay, visible. Until Ram says, what do you mean all? Because Mangena said, no, not all. Some transferred, some transfers didn't go through. But you coming through with the all? Girl, you are telling your business and we are hearing you loud and clear. Liar over there on the witness stand. But let's continue on.
I get you. Now, I want to throw another thing as well. You compare TB 3 to 10 with the exhibit bullet. Which method did you employ amongst the methods of determining the striations and the impressions on the bullet?
Pattern matching, my lord.
Okay. You've briefly touched on how you compared the test. With pattern matching, exactly, what are we looking at compared to, there's a method also that Colonel Mangena and Colonel Serrell testified about, which is the CMS or consecutive matching striae method. The two of them, you say you only, or did you only do the pattern matching?
My lord, you can do pattern matching and inadvertently do CMS. CMS is simply a quantitative method to describe a pattern match. And
just on that, if I say, for people that are ballistically not educated, if I say you do a follow-on, as you look proof, the next group, explain briefly what a follow-on is.
A follow-up, my lord, would be a second set of matching patterns to indicate that, so on your first group, you'll have a pattern. You will follow to the next group. There will be an agreement of individual, which will be an agreement of the pattern. You will continue, you match the patterns to each other.
And when you look at the test bullets under the microscope, TB3 to TB10, and you look at the exhibit bullet under the microscope, did you observe what you referred to in evidence in chief as slippage or skid marks on those exhibit bullet and test fires?
My lord, I simply explained as to how one of the means that you can distinguish between whether a 9mm was or a 38 was fired from a revolver. It was just an explanation.
Yes, but now I'm asking you, within this context, did you see skid marks on the exhibit bullet and the test fires?
I can't recall, my lord. I simply looked at patterns. I can't recall whether it was a skid mark or a specific mark. There was agreement.
Now, if you look under a microscope as an examiner, and you find that the class characteristics are there, they are discernible, and there are some individual marks, but they are not sufficient for an identification. What conclusion may you, as an examiner, come to?
If there is not enough agreement of individual characteristics, my lord, I would prefer to make it inconclusive, as I cannot specifically say or include it. But I would record in my notes whether it is positively inclined or negatively inclined, for example.
I was just about to come to that because I asked.
And honestly, the audio cut there. It literally cut there. The audio today was very choppy, very bad. They started late. It was just unprofessional. You know, when a movie's about to premiere, you know it's starting on this day at this time. Everybody's ready. Everybody was ready. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Where was the live? Dololo. 10:30. Where was the live? Dololo. Okay, it was absolute garbage. But you know what? You know what? It is what it is. We got what we got. We know. And here. Well, I really don't want to do this, but she's just going to be here. From here on, I will be referring to her as who? Mrs. I can't recall. Mrs. I don't know. Mrs. Bare Minimum. Because why is she here? Why is she here? But remember, it is accused number 3's day. Mr. Mngube. Mr. Mngube. Oh my God. What was that? The words are not coming up. Mr. Mngube Day, he called it. He said, bring them in. Bring those Mngologodu colleagues right here. Because what do they mean? They're just submitting affidavits that they just wrote last week. Bring them here. Ask them the questions. I want to see something. Let me know in the comment section if you saw something as well. If you saw what Mngube was trying to see. As we now determine 2 down, 3 to go. Okay. Ramosepele, everything she said with Ramosepele is absolute crap, in my opinion. Waste of taxpayer money. And why is she sitting in the ballistics expert? I've said it before, I'll say it again. Close that department and start again. Hire afresh. Train new people, because they're gone too far. They are gone too far in their laziness and them gullible ways, okay? And they will back each other up in their nonsense. The department is just absolute crap. And you know what? Let's end this video here so it's not too long. I will catch you on my next upload. There's definitely a part B, because you know Rams takes his time. He's not like Mngomezulu. Rams is not about the mic drop. Rams is about, I want to challenge you from a technical level. I know technical language. Let me tell you something. Do you know what does it mean if I say a follow on? Come on now, Rams. You know what? Let's get to part 2. Make sure you hit like, comment. You know the business. Let's do it. Thank you for watching. You know what? Thanks for watching. Catch you on my next upload.